So you've made it to school. This is so exciting. You're just embarking on your academic career. But if you're like most veterans or other military connected students, employment is just on the horizon and very top of mind. So it's something that we spend a lot of time thinking about. And lucky for you, we have some awesome resources at Golden Gate to be able to help you navigate that process. I'm Kelly Artis, your digital community manager. I am running this series to introduce you to all of the people and services and resources that we have available for you through the Helen Diller Center for Veterans of U.S. Military Service at Golden Gate University. I want to introduce you to my colleague, Jill New. Jill is our career programs and outreach manager at the Diller Center. Welcome, Jill.
Thanks so much for having me.
Jill, tell us a little bit about your connection to the military and a little bit about yourself.
So I'm actually a Navy spouse for, about almost 20 years now. And with that comes a lot of moves, changes in career paths and employment. And that's how I got started in career services. And so that's where I'm at in terms of serving our students here at Golden Gate.
Awesome. Okay, well, so let's talk about that. In your role as the career programs and outreach manager, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you supplement GGU career services as well.
Right. So at Golden Gate, there are main career services that any student can connect with and receive assistance with. And those are kind of like your bread and butter types of services like resume writing, interview prep, and that kind of things. What I bring extra for our student veterans and military connected students are I make sure that you know how to translate your service or your military experience. So like my experiences as a spouse are wide and varied. So it may not make a lot of sense when I'm trying to pivot into something new. So I help you make sure that you can translate that really well to an employer. I can help and provide extra assistance with resume writing, especially if we're talking about collateral duties. Students tend to forget those collateral duties and they really focus more on their MOS or their rating. And really collateral duties are a lot of what's going to get you in the door. I also make sure that you're connected to networking opportunities in terms of being a veteran or a military spouse. There's lots of veterans and military family servicing organizations that are committed to employment. Military spouse employment has stayed in the mid-20s for the past decade, and veterans are usually higher than the general population as well. So me and a lot of these other service organizations know that you need these connections, and networking is how you get jobs. It's not just throwing your resume out there and uploading it in Indeed or in just an applicant tracking system by itself. It's networking. It's understanding how these systems work. And I'm here to make sure that you understand how those systems work, how to get into these networks. And then also things like, what's your professional brand? What's your personal, your professional image look like? Make sure that you're connected to mentors and people who are in the fields that you want to go into. I can also help with things related to how do you work well if you have a disability, whether it's service connected or not, because these are things that have happened since you were an adult, and maybe you're still trying to navigate and figure out, how do I work with what's going on with me, and how do I translate what I'm doing in the classroom in terms of accommodations into the workplace.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys, I have learned so much from Jill just from hearing her talk about what she does, talk to students, help educate them on all of these amazing resources. So Jill, tell us, how often and maybe when should students consider connecting with you? What should that process look like?
Well, in my ideal world, you should be connecting with me your first term in school. So it can take 6 to 12 months to find a job. If you're studying something that you have no background in, you need to build some experience through experiential learning, and you need to do that while you're in school. If you're a veteran, military spouses, it's not like the traditional 18 to 20-year-old undergraduate who have nothing else to do other than school. So I understand you might be working, you have a family and family obligations, you may not have the time to do like a 12-week internship over the summer, like what you see companies offering for other undergraduates. I can help make sure that you know where the flexible types of internships are to get you that experience. So I think first term, but definitely your second to last term, that's really when you need to connect with me. It's kind of like a transition plan when you got out. You needed to go to medical to make sure everything was done for that. You had to go to TAP. And if you went to TAP and it was a while ago, don't worry. I'm not going to give you a TAP class again. You need that plan as you're heading out, getting closer to graduation or completion of your studies.
Yeah, these services are here because we are obsessed with your success. So we want to make sure that we're advocating for you. We are helping you present your best self, your best professional self, and ensure that we can land you a dream job. I mean, that's the goal, right? That's the dream for everyone. Okay, Jill, what's your best piece of advice for a military student?
Oh, my best piece of advice is connect either on campus in whatever way works for you, whether that's a professor, maybe that's some kind of student services professional. So somebody in the tutoring office, somebody in the writing center, somebody in career services. It's me, it's anybody on the Diller team staff. Make sure you're connected to somebody on campus, because if something happens and you have no idea who to talk to, you can talk to that person first and say, help me navigate X, Y, and Z. My second one is then make sure you're connecting in the professional field you're looking at. There's all kinds of professional organizations with student memberships that are low cost or if not free, or connecting with, like I said, those veteran service organizations that are interested in your employment success. And so it's about connections. So find one person. That's the first thing you do, is build a one-person network on campus and for employment.
Well, speaking of connecting, how can folks reach you? How can they find you and connect with you, Jill?
I'm always available by email. So my email is really simple. It's Jill New smushed together at ggu.edu. So that's the first way. If you go and visit our website, which is military.ggu.edu, and you go to transitions, you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can make appointments with me right there. You can also connect with me through the Bridge, which is the university system about employment and career opportunities. That's also how you can make appointments with regular university career services, but you can make appointments with me through that platform as well. So there's lots of ways to find me. I'm also on LinkedIn because I do it.
That's
so
right.
if you don't have LinkedIn and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then maybe we need to talk sooner rather than later.
That's right. That's right. That's a work in progress always. Awesome, Jill. Thank you so much for your time today and for all that you do for our military students.
Thank you.